From the Black Tigers conducting over 330 suicide attacks in Sri Lanka's civil war, to SAYERET MATKAL rescuing 102 hostages in Uganda thousands of miles from home, and South Korea's 707th Special Mission Group securing the 1988 Olympics with a 90% training failure rate. These are the 12 deadliest special forces of Asia, Black Tigers. Active from 1987 to 2009, during Sri Lanka's civil war, the Black Tigers were the elite suicide commando unit of the separatist Tamil Tigers, the LTTE. Hand-picked recruits would write directly to leader Pillai Prabhakaran requesting entry. If approved, their identities were kept secret, and they earned the right to a farewell dinner with the leader the night before their mission. Using explosive vests, boat bombs, and even trucks packed with explosives, they compensated for lack of heavy weapons with strategically devastating attacks. Between 1987 and 2009, they conducted over 330 suicide attacks, the world record for suicide operations at that time. They assassinated Indian ex-Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi in 1991 and Sri Lankan President Rana Singhe Premadasa in 1993. In 2001, Black Tiger commandos attacked Bandaranaike International Airport, destroying military and civilian aircraft on the ground in a brazen raid that crippled Sri Lanka's air force and shocked the nation. Each operative accepted their mission was one way, no return. But what made them deadliest wasn't just explosives, it was fanatical determination that shook conventional armies. Under heavy darkness before dawn, a single rebel would creep toward an enemy base, explosives strapped to their body, heart beating steady, knowing they wouldn't return. In the silence before detonation, the Black Tiger would remember their commander's final handshake. Then, a flash and thunderous blast, history rewritten in seconds. Their calculated attacks devastated military targets, exploding barracks, convoys, and even enemy political leaders in one deadly flash, feeding the fearsome legend of these sacrifice commandos. The Black Tigers proved that fanatical will can become a strategic weapon. 707th Special Mission Battalion. Created in 1982 following the 1972 Munich Olympics terrorist attack, the 707th Special Mission Battalion is South Korea's premier counter-terrorism unit under the Republic of Korea Army Special Warfare Command. Wearing black tactical gear and balaclavas during operations, they specialize in hostage rescue, counter-terrorism, VIP protection, and direct action against high-value targets. The unit operates with extreme secrecy, members' identities are classified, and their base location near Seoul is undisclosed. They're trained to operate in any environment, from aircraft to buildings and maritime scenarios. The 707th secured major events, including the 1988 Seoul Olympics and the 2002 FIFA World Cup, without incidents. In 1987, following the Korean air flight 858 bombing by North Korean agents that killed 115 people, the unit intensified training for aircraft scenarios. During the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, over 1,000 operators from the 707th deployed in plainclothes throughout venues, intercepting multiple security threats. They've conducted classified operations along the DMZ, neutralizing North Korean infiltration attempts. In 2001, they participated in joint exercises with US Delta Force and Navy SEALs, demonstrating capabilities that impressed American special operators. But their selection process is brutal. Candidates endure 10 months of grueling training with a 90% attrition rate. They master CQB in aircraft mock-ups, practice precision shooting while rappelling from helicopters, and train in sub-zero temperatures for North Korean scenarios. The unit maintains a shoot house where they practice hostage rescue with live ammunition. Interestingly, many operators are recruited from South Korea's mandatory military service, the best soldiers from airborne and special forces units. They train with international partners, including GSG-9, SAS, and GIGN. The unit's motto remains classified, but their reputation speaks volumes. When North Korean threats emerge, the 707th is South Korea's silent shield. The 707th proves South Korea's readiness for any terrorist threat, and from modern Korea, we travel to Japan's elite hostage rescue unit. Special Assault Team, SAT, Japan. Established in 1996 under the National Police Agency, Japan's Special Assault Team is the nation's elite counter-terrorism unit, responding to hostage situations, armed sieges, and terrorist attacks. Operating in teams of approximately 200 members spread across major cities. They wear distinctive dark blue or black tactical gear with full-face masks. Unlike military units, SAT operates under civilian police authority, making them unique among Asian special forces. They specialize in urban counter-terrorism, precision marksmanship and non-lethal takedowns when possible. SAT's most famous operation came in 2000 during the Nishitetsu bus hijacking in Fukuoka. A 17-year-old armed with a knife held passengers hostage for 15 hours. SAT operators stormed the bus, neutralizing the hijacker with a single, precise shot and rescuing all hostages unharmed. The operation, broadcast live on national television, demonstrated their surgical precision. In 2013, they ended the Algeria hostage crisis involving Japanese nationals at a gas facility, though with tragic casualties. SAT provides security for major events including G7 summits and has trained extensively with international units including GSG-9, GIGN and SAS. Their response time in Tokyo is under 30 minutes for any incident. But SAT selection is extraordinarily difficult. Only elite riot police with exceptional records can apply, and fewer than 5% of applicants pass. Training includes extreme physical conditioning, shooting thousands of rounds to achieve near-perfect accuracy, and psychological preparation for life or death decisions. Each operator must qualify as an expert marksman, capable of headshots at 50 meters. They train in mock aircraft, trains, and buildings, replicating every major facility in Japan. Interestingly, SAT's philosophy emphasizes minimal force. They're trained to wound rather than kill when possible, reflecting Japanese cultural values. However, when lethal force is necessary, their precision is absolute. Their equipment includes cutting-edge ballistic shields, fiber optic cameras, and non-lethal munitions alongside standard MP5 submachine guns and sniper rifles. SAT showed that precision and restraint can coexist with lethality. And from Japan's urban protectors, we travel to the Himalayan mountains, where legendary warriors forged their reputation. The Gurkhas, Nepal. Serving since around 1815 in British, Indian, and other armies, Gurkhas are soldiers recruited from Nepal, medium-statured and muscular, with tilted dark hats and carrying the kukri, the famous curved machete, at the waist. They possess a distinct appearance. Their primary function has been elite light infantry, troops for close combat, patrol, and shock. Coming from the Himalayan mountains, they bring agility, endurance, and exceptional warrior instinct developed in brutal terrain. Their motto, better to die than be a coward. They fought with distinction in 2 world wars, on the front lines in fierce battles like Gallipoli in 1915 and Monte Cassino in 1944. In Malaysia in the 1950s and Borneo in the 1960s, Gurkha units conducted jungle warfare operations against communist guerrillas, tracking enemies silently. In 1982, during the Falklands War, their mere presence made Argentine troops retreat. Argentines feared Gurkha reputation. Legendary stories abound, like soldier Lakhiman Gurung in Burma 1945. He killed 31 Japanese soldiers with rifle and bayonet to stop an attack. In 2010, ex-Gurkha Bishnu Shrestha faced 40 train robbers in India with just his kukri, saving dozens of passengers. But there's a famous saying that if a Gurkha unsheathes his kukri, it only returns to its sheath after drinking blood. Their physical training is grueling. Nepalese recruits run uphill carrying 25-kilogram baskets. Only a small fraction passes selections. Despite not being special forces in the modern sense, Gurkhas frequently acted as elite rapid deployment and shock troops. And from mountain warriors, we travel to China's modern anti-terror unit, Snow Leopard Commando Unit. China. Formed in 2002 as an anti-terrorism unit of the People's Armed Police, the Snow Leopard Commando Unit was created for the 2008 Beijing Olympics. Composed of about 400 highly selected members, analogous to a militarized SWAT, they wear dark blue or black uniforms and specialize in urban counter-terrorism, hostage rescue, high-risk event security, and mountain environment operations. Originally named Snow Wolf, it was changed to Snow Leopard, inspired by that mountain feline's agility and cunning. They secured the 2008 Beijing Olympics without incidents. They operated in secret missions in the volatile Xinjiang region, responding to Uyghur insurgent attacks. In 2014, a Snow Leopard team represented China at the prestigious warrior competition in Jordan and became world champions among special forces from 19 countries, shocking observers with their precision and speed. Operators were also deployed to protect Chinese diplomats in Iraq and Afghanistan. Their training includes precision shooting, martial arts, high-altitude operations, and explosives. But their existence was only revealed to the public in 2006 in an effort to demonstrate China was ready to face modern terrorist threats. They appear little and say even less, but their actions speak loud. Where there's a threat, they hunt and eliminate the enemy flawlessly. From modern China, we travel to Indonesia's jungle predators. KOPASSUS, Indonesia. Active since 1952 as the Indonesian Army's Special Forces Command, KOPASSUS wears the red beret and specializes in counter-terrorism, direct action raids, sabotage, intelligence and reconnaissance, and unconventional warfare, especially strictly internal counterinsurgency. Known as one of the world's toughest special forces, their training involves enduring extreme pain and operating in dense jungle. There are reports of KOPASSUS soldiers demonstrating invulnerability by shooting their own vests at point-blank range and drinking snake blood during survival courses. KOPASSUS gained international fame in 1981 by freeing hostages from a hijacked airplane. Their commandos stormed the aircraft and eliminated terrorists with surgical speed. In the 1990s, they operated secretly in East Timor operations, and in 1996, they participated in the rescue operation of researcher hostages from guerrillas in Mapenduma, Papua. But their image was tarnished by human rights abuse accusations, especially during the Suharto regime, when KOPASSUS was involved in persecuting dissidents. Physically, their members achieve impressive marks, holding records like 15-hour forced marches fully equipped. Foreign trainers from the US and Australia who worked with KOPASSUS described them as incredibly tough and fast, true jungle ghosts. And from Indonesian jungles we travel to Pakistan's mountains and deserts. Special Service Group, Pakistan. Active since 1956 as Pakistan Army's primary special force, the SSG conducts long-range commando actions, special reconnaissance, counter-terrorism, unconventional warfare, and high-value missions like leader hunting and hostage recovery. Every candidate faces a brutal 9-month course, including marching 58 kilometers in 12 hours and running 8 kilometers in 50 minutes with full kit, a filtering where only about 5% pass. The SSG debuted in war during the 1965 Indo-Pakistani War, conducting infiltrations behind Indian lines. In 1979, SSG advisors assisted Saudi forces during the Grand Mosque siege in Mecca, helping retake the site from armed insurgents. In the 1980s, during the Soviet-Afghan War, SSG commandos disguised as mujahideen fought Soviet troops, where Pakistani black warriors allegedly inflicted heavy casualties on a Soviet airborne platoon. Internally, the SSG led operations against terrorists, like retaking the army camp in Banu in 2012 and freeing hostages during the Peshawar military school attack in 2014, but specialized in diverse terrains from desert to glacier. They pride themselves on feats like climbing K2, the world's second highest mountain. The SSG's international reputation is extremely high. For their vast real combat experience, they've been cited as one of the world's best. And from Pakistan's mountains, we dive into India's waters with amphibious commandos. Marcos, India. Active since 1987 as the Indian Navy's Marine Commandos, Marcos specializes in naval and coastal special operations, maritime installation attacks, maritime counter-terrorism, amphibious reconnaissance, and direct actions on land alongside Army and Air Force. Their unofficial motto, the few, the fearless, reflects difficult selection. An estimated 90% of aspirants fail. They're trained by US SEALs and British SBS since creation and are famous as lethal amphibians operating in sea, air, and land. They were on the front line of the Kargil War in 1999, conducting high-altitude reconnaissance and directing artillery fire against infiltrators. In 1988, in Maldives during Operation Cactus, Marcos commandos helped frustrate a coup, intercepting fleeing mercenaries by sea and rescuing 23 hostages unharmed. During the 2008 Mumbai attack, Marcos, nicknamed Dadiwala Fauj, bearded army for operating disguised, supported the anti-terror group, but a tactical curiosity. In Kashmir missions, Marcos were inspired by Israeli Mr. Arvim commandos, using beards and local clothing to blend with the population before surprise attacking terrorists. That's why they earned the Beard Force nickname. They carry modern weapons like Tavor and M4A1 rifles, but also the mythical Gurkha kukri at the waist as a symbol. Skilled in underwater combat, combat divers capable of swimming up to 12 kilometers with equipment, and halo-haho parachuting. From India's amphibious force, we travel to Iran's shadow operatives. QUDS Force, Iran. Active since 1988 as the external operations unit of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. QUDS means Jerusalem in Farsi, indicating the ideological purpose of liberating Jerusalem from Israeli control. With about 5,000 members, it's a unique special force, blending CIA-style espionage activities with JSOC-style commando actions. Operating in shadows, their agents support Iran's allied groups, from Lebanese Hezbollah to Yemeni Houthi rebels and Shiite militias in Iraq and Syria. Under General Qasem Soleimani's command from 1998 to 2020, Quds Force orchestrated a vast network of operations across the Middle East. They were decisive in arming and training Hezbollah in Lebanon in the 1980s and supported Shiite militias against US troops in Iraq after 2003. In the Syrian civil war, the unit practically practically saved Assad's regime, coordinating military support and ensuring Russia's 2015 intervention. But their methods include smuggling sophisticated weapons, rockets, drones to partner groups, planning attacks against dissidents, and even cyber operations. Several countries classify it as a terrorist organization for links to civilian attacks. SHAYETET 13, Israel. Active since 1949, Israel's naval commandos specialize in sea-to-land raids, naval sabotage, counter-terrorism, hostage rescue, maritime intelligence, and boarding hostile ships. Extremely secretive, for decades their existence wasn't even admitted. Comparable to US SEALs and British SBS, their candidates undergo 20 months of brutal training covering long-distance swimming, underwater explosives, and urban combat. Only volunteers committing to serve at least 4.5 years can attempt. The unit's symbol features a bat, alluding to stealthy nighttime raids. In 1969, during the famous Operation Bull 6, Green Island, SHAYETET 13 and SAYERET MATKAL commandos attacked by boat an Egyptian fortress in the Gulf of Suez, neutralizing about 80 enemy soldiers. Most recently in October 2023, during the Israel-Hamas conflict, SHAYETET 13 operators retook the Sufa base and invaded kibbutzim, eliminating over 100 terrorists and rescuing hostages in the first days of combat. Para-Special Forces, India. Active since 1966 as the Indian Army's para-SF troops, they conduct deep special operations as paratroopers, high-risk direct actions, counter-insurgency, counter-terrorism, long-range reconnaissance, and unconventional warfare. They display the maroon beret and Baladan sacrifice insignia. Their motto, men apart, every man an emperor. They're one of Asia's oldest special forces units, with tradition inherited from British World War II commandos. In the 1971 Indo-Pakistani War, 9 para-SF commandos conducted the famous Chachro raid in the Rajasthan desert, penetrating 80 kilometers inside Pakistan and destroying military installations. The 2016 surgical incursion into Pakistani-controlled Kashmir gained worldwide attention when para-SF commandos crossed the border at night and destroyed terrorist bases in retaliation, returning without own casualties. SAYERET MATKAL, Israel. Active since 1957 as the General Staff Reconnaissance Unit, SAYERET MATKAL conducts long-range reconnaissance in enemy territory, strategic intelligence collection, international counter-terrorism, hostage rescue both abroad and at home, irregular warfare, and black ops. Considered Israel's most mythical unit, inspired by Britain's SAS, they even adopted the motto, "Who dares wins." The selection process, Gibbush, is legendary. Days of desert and swamp navigation, with extreme physical and mental demands. The unit is small, a few hundred, organised in teams that can operate far beyond enemy lines without support. Their most famous feat was Operation Entebbe in 1976. Thousands of kilometres from home, unit commandos flew to Uganda and rescued 102 hostages from a hijacked plane, eliminating the terrorists. In 1973, they participated in the Beirut raid, Operation Spring of Youth, against leaders of the Black September Group, avenging the Munich Olympics athlete massacre. SAYERET MATKAL pioneered worldwide development of modern counter-terrorism and hostage rescue techniques in the 1970s. When the mission is impossible and vital, this is the unit Israel calls first. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See what's next. Throughout history, nations have created military forces. Some become elite, fewer become legendary. But only a handful cross the threshold into something else entirely. Forces so lethal that their mere existence changes the calculus of warfare. Spartan warriors, Janissaries, Navy SEALs, SAYERET MATKAL. What separates these units from every other elite force that ever existed?